Bill O'Reilly here, Thursday, November 14th, 2019. You're listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. Democrats lift the curtain on their impeachment effort. Stock market hits record highs. Federal deficit adds more than $130 billion in 1 month. Incredible. Bernie Sanders introduces another penalty on affluent Americans. Also, I had the message on how impeachment affects us all. But first, impeachment, the television show. The House Intel Committee speaking with two State Department officials yesterday. The testimony was largely hearsay and anticlimactic. For Democrats, President Trump coerced a foreign ally to dig up dirt on Joe Biden. According to Chairman Adam Schiff, Trump officials, quote, pressed Ukrainian authorities to investigate the Bidens since Vice President Joe Biden was seen as a political challenger, unquote. But Republicans say the show trial is meant to delegitimize the 2016 election, ranking Intel member Devin Nunes telling the panel, quote, anyone familiar with the Democrats' scorched earth war against President Trump would not be surprised to see all the typical signs that this is a carefully orchestrated media smear campaign, unquote. We'll have more on what all this means coming up in the message of the day. American investors apparently not spooked by impeachment. The Dow Jones closing at the highest level in American history on strong financial reports from media and tech firms. Despite the strong economy, the federal deficit added $134 billion in debt in just 1 month. New statistics from the Treasury show a spike in spending in October. Economists cite increased military funding and the ongoing trade war with China. Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib unveiling a new plan to punish American companies that reward executives with high salaries. Their Tax Excessive CEO Pay Act would penalize corporations should the chief executive earn 50 times the median worker's salary. Sanders claims the law would generate $150 billion over 10 years. Of course, it may be unconstitutional. In a moment, what the impeachment deal really means. Right back with that. Forget Russian hackers and elections for a moment, please. This is worse. Cyber thieves are stealing American homes. Guess where your home's legal title and mortgage documents are kept? Online. Wide open. Your signature and everything thieves need to take over ownership of your home is easily available online. Thieves forge your name off the title, then refile the deed so it appears you sold it. Then they go to unscrupulous lenders and borrow money using your home's equity. Then they disappear, and you get stuck with the payments. Banks, insurance, and identity theft programs do not protect you. Home Title Lock does. Home Title Lock puts a virtual firewall around your home's title and mortgage, and they monitor the black market to see if your home is for sale. Your home equity is your retirement, your emergency fund. Let me help protect it with 60 risk-free days of Home Title Lock. So please go to HomeTitleLock.com and enter your address to see if you're already a victim. Defend yourself at HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. The impeachment hearings yesterday were a fiasco. Nothing was proved. Hearsay dominated. Few minds were changed. The media has already convicted President Trump of high crimes and misdemeanors, but they did that the first day he took office, demonstrating a disturbing bias. At CNN and MSNBC, at the New York Times, at the Washington Post, Trump is guilty. Just one example, MSNBC's Nicole Wallace, quote, some GOP House members going from occasionally reasonable to Trump shills, unquote. Ms. Wallace used to be a Republican, but is now one of the most vehement anti-Trumpers. Now, I believe Americans will begin to tune out the impeachment stuff, primarily because it's boring. There was no drama yesterday. Yes, President Trump wanted to know about Joe Biden and possible corruption in Ukraine. That's true, but it's not impeachable. Even if aid was delayed, and it looks like it was held up for a few weeks, the Justice Department is also looking into corruption in Ukraine and everywhere else involving the 2016 election. By the way, the Washington Post, which despises President Trump, actually gave Adam Schiff 4 Pinocchios for claiming, quote, "I have not spoken directly with the whistleblower." Now, 4 Pinocchios means Adam Schiff is lying, according to the Washington Post. But is anybody surprised? No. The only surprise here is why this impeachment thing continues. With no drama and Americans' short attention span, people are going to begin to tune out, and that means the television networks won't broadcast it, leaving it to the cable networks, which will do what they always do. The pro-Trump network will say nothing there. The anti-Trump network will say this is the worst thing since Richard Nixon. But in the end, there will be no removal of Donald Trump. He knows it. The Senate knows it. The House Democrats know it. Everybody knows it. So this whole impeachment thing is to try to damage Donald Trump in the election of next year. Now, this whole thing damages the country, makes us look foolish overseas, because people don't pay attention in Burma or India or Colombia, South America. I mean, they're not locked in. They're just seeing, oh, there's corruption in America, this, that, and the other thing. That's damaging. And here we have some vexing problems that need to be solved, do we not? The border, the dreamers, the deterioration of cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco. We have problems with China. We have Middle Eastern problems. And these people are sitting around going, oh, what did you do? I heard he may have said so. Oh, it's just absurd. It's really, really insulting to all of us. If you don't like President Trump, vote him out. It's less than a year. Americans will have their say at the polls. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message. Please check out my latest book, The United States of Trump. We posted an excerpt on BillO'Reilly.com. Up next, something you might not know. There are so many reasons to be grateful, and in large part, we have our military and our vets to thank for our liberties and freedom. So here is a message about National Wreaths Across America Day. It's coming up Saturday, December 14th. You can join in the mission to remember our fallen heroes, honor those who currently serve, and teach younger generations the value of freedom. A $15 donation to Wreaths Across America sponsors a fresh handmade balsam fir wreath from Maine with a single red bow. The circular wreath with 10 balsam bouquets is a catalyst for unity, healing, and an expression of gratitude. What started at Arlington National Cemetery has now grown to ceremonies at more than 1,700 other participating locations across the country and overseas. So please sponsor a Veterans Wreath today and show your appreciation. Visit wreathsacrossamerica.org, wreathsacrossamerica.org. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. According to various studies, religion is one of the most important elements of life for more than 93% of the global population. While most people subscribe to the top 5 faiths, social scientists say there are now more than 4,000 belief systems across the planet. Let's take a look around the world at how some of them are doing. China. Despite a communist atheist government, there are more than 240 million Buddhists within China's borders. Buddhism does not acknowledge any particular god, choosing instead to focus on inner peace. Monks symbolically shave their heads, an outward rejection of worldly desires. Next up, India, with more than 1 billion Hindus. That religion dates back 4,000 years, but its origins are unclear. Hinduism isn't really a single movement, but a mix of traditions. Islam, the world's second largest religion, 1.6 billion followers. The movement started in 622 AD when the Prophet Muhammad traveled from Mecca to Medina in Saudi Arabia now, a pilgrimage carried out by millions of followers every year. The trek can be dangerous. A stampede at the holy site killed 2,400 people back in 2015. Next, the Rastafarians, with 1 million followers across the Caribbean and Africa. Members of the faith believe Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie was the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. They also consider smoking marijuana a holy sacrament, a tribute to a higher power, so to speak. The planet's biggest religion is Christianity, 2.2 billion believers around the globe. About 50% of all Christians are Catholic, the rest comprising hundreds of different denominations. Jesus Christ, of course, the creator of the Christian philosophy. And here's something you might not know. One of the world's fastest growing spiritual movements is a lack of one. About 500 million folks now identify as atheist or agnostic, a 10% increase in Western countries in the last decade alone. The O'Reilly Update will be back after this. Millions of Americans have been diagnosed with cancer or a serious illness. If you are one of them and money is a problem, you're not alone. It's simple. If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, then Life Guide Partners can evaluate your coverage for free to see if you qualify for cash now when you need it the most. Be ready to take down this number. If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more and you are living with a serious illness, then Life Guide Partners can evaluate your coverage free to see if you qualify for cash now. So write this number down, 1-888-GUIDE-50. Totally free to call. Get rid of those insurance premiums. Stop paying them. Consider turning that life policy into cash. The number again, 1-888-GUIDE-50. 1-888-484-3350. 1-888-GUIDE-50. Call now. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.